Hi, everybody. Good morning. So today I have a very special lesson planned for you guys. I'm going to be showing you some cool tech tools for our E&L students, for our Ls. I'm going to be showing you a number of tools. The first two are going to be tools that are built into Google Docs. The next you may be familiar with is the Google Translation website. Then we'll be looking at 3 different Chrome extensions that can be used in very creative ways for our E&L students. And finally, something that I've never seen before, but was new to me, called a summarization website. So we'll be looking at that at the end. Let's start by looking at the tools built into Google Docs. We'll be looking at the Translate Document tool and the Voice Typing tool. So say students are given a text like this. One of the first things that we encourage at my school our E&L students to always do is to translate the document into their native language. Now, again, students may have varying capabilities in their native language and in the English language, but it is often helpful for students to see the same content, the same material in both languages. And between the two, it can help increase their connections to the material and their understanding of the material. So by clicking on Tools, going down to Translate Document, then students will choose their home language. We'll use Spanish for the example. And they click Translate. It'll take a few minutes for the system to process. And you could see the system will generate another Google document in almost identical formatting, but with a fairly accurate translation to the student's home language. So again, this is very helpful, especially on any type of exam or assessment. So it's important. I always try to use Google Docs, so our E&L students will always have access to this feature. And it's something that students should practice so they could do on their own in their content classes if they're not receiving push-in support in that class. The next tool that we'll take a look at is the Voice Typing tool. So as you can see, it's already opened. This could be accessed by going to Tools, clicking Voice Typing, and this little icon over here will come up. And this works very well and is an additional way that could provide additional modifications for our E&L students and may help them on longer assignments. It may be easier for them to speak their responses instead of typing is another way to provide support for our Ls. So once we click on Tools, Voice Typing, this little icon will come up, and it can be used to record our speech. And we can see it's fairly accurate. Obama repeats the phrase, quote, "There is something happening," end quote, in order to stress the importance of the idea that there were many political changes at the time in America, period. New line. This was an appropriate way for Obama to begin his speech because, so as you can see, it's fairly accurate. Students would still need to edit the punctuation a little bit, but as you can see, it's fairly helpful and can help students with their typing and may save them time if they're slow typers or struggle with typing in English. So that's a very helpful tool for our Ls. Moving on is a tool that many Ls may be familiar with, is called the Google Translation website, Google Translate, which many of our students are most likely familiar with. So what they can do is this can be accessed by going to, they can open up a Google window and they can type in Translate. Now there's 2 ways. Students could either translate directly onto this page, or they could open the full website. The full website is just a little bigger, a little clearer, and provides some additional information. In addition, students could also use the the term define, which we teach our students to do, and say they wanted to define the word dream. You can provide a definition, and it also provides translations as well. So as you can see, the word could be translated into any language. Okay. If students need additional support, they could always use Google Images to try to get some pictures that may help them associate with the word. And if needed, in addition, they can translate the definition. So again, they could go to Google Translate. Paste in the definition, and they could translate the definition into their native language. The full website is very similar, but may provide just a clearer, easier to see view. They could also speak into it. So, Barack Obama gave his famous "Yes, we can" speech. Okay, and that can be then read back.
Barack Obama pronunció su famoso discurso "Sí podemos."
And that could be read back in both.
Barack Obama gave his famous
languages.
"Yes, we can" speech, and that can be done read.
Okay.
Barack Obama.
Okay. Right, so that's a very helpful tool for students to practice when they're learning new words. Say they're learning the word dream. Again, they can practice the pronunciation of it. The next tool we'll be looking at is the Google Translate Chrome extension. We'll be looking at 3 different Chrome extensions: Google Translate, something called Moat, and something called Screencastify. So let's take a quick look at those Chrome extensions. So again, these are downloaded via Chrome through Google Chrome. You could open up the extensions, manage extensions. Going down to the Chrome Web Store. And these are some of the extensions that we'll use. Translate. It's this, Google Translate we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at another called Moat right here. And the last one we'll be looking at is Screencastify. Okay? And these will all work on the students' school computers as well. So the first extension we're going to look at is Google Translate. So similarly, they can look at a document like this, and it could be, say it's a web page that they need to translate. So this was a website from a news article from the Washington Post. They can click via the Chrome extension and then click Translate this page. They can choose the language they would want it translated to. Okay, and you can see pretty quickly it's able to translate the web page into the language of their choice. So you could see it's fairly accurate at translating without changing any of the formatting as well. So that's a very helpful tool that if it's a website instead of a Google Doc, it may be helpful for students to become familiar with the Google Translate extension. The next feature we're going to look at is something called Moat. And this is a way for students or teachers to give comments to students, or to add sort of voice recordings as a commentary for students. So we would click this extension, Moat, and teachers could add an additional message, such as the following. This is a very important question. Please write at least 3 to 4 sentences. Okay. Then a link would be created, and students could then go to this link to hear the recording from the teacher. This is a very important question. Please write at least 3 to 4 sentences. So you could see it's a way for students to add in their own voice or a voice comment. It's also a way for teachers to give feedback in a more friendly way, as sometimes our comments on Google Documents may come off a little harsh for our L students. So that's that. Just 2 more quick tools that we could just quickly look at. The next one is called Screencastify, and this is just a screen recording tool that students and teachers could both use. Teachers could often create screencasts easily, similar to this one, to show our E&L students exactly how to do something if maybe they're not in class that day, or students are learning remotely. So this is a very effective tool, and it could also allow students to work on their own. So this is a very effective tool. Students could follow along with the video, and they could learn how to do certain tasks, even if the teacher is not with them, and they could also rewatch the content if needed. So Screencastify, again, is a very effective free tool that both teachers and students could use. In addition, students could even make their own videos as a way to demonstrate their speaking capabilities, or as a way to maybe present information to the rest of their class, etc. So there's a number to give presentations. So it's a very useful tool in the E&L classroom. And finally, there's a tool called Summary, SMMRY. And it's a website. It looks like this. And the way it works is that you take this link and you add it to your toolbar. And what it does is it'll summarize a website for you. So let's go here. And we can, by clicking this link, it will create a summary of this website for us. And it takes a few minutes to process, a few moments. But as you can see, in only a few moments, it can load up a summary of the article, and you can adjust it for how many sentences you would want. Okay? And you could create a short summary of the article for students to practice. So this is an excellent and easy way to modify text or to differentiate text for our E&L students so that they could read the same text as the rest of their classes, but this just an abbreviated, modified version. And you could see the summarization is fairly accurate and can help students understand the main points in the text. So I hope that was very helpful, and I hope both you and your students benefit from using these tech tools. Thank you so much, and have a great day.